Hello everyone, and today we're going to talk about an exciting new announcement, Exasol's Ibis connector, which is available via Exasol AI Lab. Now, a little background on Exasol AI Lab. AI Lab is a development environment for building, testing, and implementing AI and machine learning workloads on Exasol as your database or data warehouse. AI Lab is a companion to Exasol. It operates using Jupyter notebooks, and it comes with a variety of pre-built, pre-configured utilities and pre-populated workflows that can help you get started building your own AI, machine learning, and data science solutions. Now, in this tutorial, we're going to talk about the Ibis connector specifically. And to follow along with this tutorial, there are a few things we recommend you do before you get started. First is get up and running with AI Lab. We have a separate video that walks you through all of the steps to download and get started with AI Lab. Next, you'll need a running instance of Exasol that you have access to. That's also covered in our Getting Started video. You'll have configured AI Lab. You guessed it, that's covered in the previous video. And you're going to connect that AI Lab instance to your Exasol instance so that AI Lab can access data in your Exasol environment and interact with that data. Now, when it comes to data, today we're going to be working with various flight data sets. These are very large data sets, so they give us a demonstration of the power and scale of the Ibis connector and why we want to use it within AI Lab and Exasol. So we also have a notebook, a Jupyter notebook, as well as a video that walks you through getting that flight data uploaded into Exasol. So if you want to pause for a moment, go walk through those two videos to get started and load your data, and then we'll get rolling. So why is Ibis exciting, and why did Exasol decide to build a connector? The main goal is to be able to leverage the power of Exasol for data science, as well as streamline data analytics. Ibis allows you to use Python for powerful data manipulation with frameworks and libraries like pandas, but within your Exasol database. So an environment like a database, which is typically SQL-based, now we've unlocked the capability of using Python to interact with that data. This makes data science workloads and processes that data engineers would typically follow using Python and other programming languages available within your Exasol database environment. And the focus here is on high volume data. Now, typically for data science, you might be downloading data locally or using a local machine, and that can create bottlenecks when it comes to using very large data sets, which are often required for machine learning development. So that's why Ibis allows you to use Exasol as your database backend. You don't have to move that data, but you can still work with Python and the other tools that you would typically work with locally to build out your data science solutions. So now you have that fast local data frame library, but you're leveraging it on top of your powerful Exasol database. So we're going to cover a couple things in this walkthrough today. First, we're going to set up an Ibis connection to Exasol using AI Lab. Then we're going to manipulate some data using pandas with the Ibis data connection powering that connection between AI Lab and Exasol. And then we're going to actually issue several queries to start interacting with that data, again, powered by the Ibis connector. So let's take a look. Now, if you're new to Ibis, I recommend starting with their website and their documentation, which gives a great overview of the entire framework and covers documentation and use cases and really talks about why Ibis is valuable and how it helps differentiate your data scientists and the jobs that they're doing. Now let's jump into AI Lab. Now, we should have already gone through the start notebook here to actually configure and set up AI Lab. And a reminder, I also recommend walking through the data loading workbook here as well to get that flight data loaded. Now we can dive into our Ibis connector. And we have a dedicated folder that contains the tutorial and walkthrough that I'm going to show you today. This is all available in AI Lab version 3 and higher. So if you don't see this notebook or this folder show up, that means you need to go back and download the newest version of AI Lab. So let's open up that quick start notebook and take a look. I've already configured AI Lab and I've already loaded the appropriate data. So as always, I'm going to start by entering my password to access my configuration store. And now let's build that connection using Ibis. So this is where the magic kind of starts to happen. We're going to build an Exasol connection, but we're going to use this Ibis wrapper that we've built so that Ibis is actually the connection point between AI Lab and Exasol. Excellent. Now I'm going to start to interact with some of the data. First, I'm going to build a table or an object to represent our flights table, and I'm going to inspect that data using pandas. Now we can see the data represented here and all the columns that I would expect to see. It's just a sampling. Now let's do a little bit more interaction to get to know our data. So first I'm going to take a look at, let's say, all of the canceled flights. So now I'm filtering that data frame that I have. And now I'm going to look at all of the diverted flights. Excellent. Let's pump it up a little bit. Let's do some more complicated manipulation here. So now I'm going to do some group by and aggregation. So let's say I want to look at the delay aggregate for each carrier. Now, if you're walking through this on your own, you can always edit and change the code that's being issued here if you want to adapt it to your own use case or just explore the options. So now I can look at the total combined delay, the total number of delayed flights compared to the total number of flights. So now I'm aggregating across a multi-million row data set, and you can see how quick that interaction is. Let's go a little bit further. I want to add some additional metrics. I want to look at the percentage of flights that have been delayed and the average delay per flight. Fantastic. So I'm building off of the previous aggregation, looking at percent delayed and delayed per flight. Now I also want to explore some data manipulation. So let's now join between the data I have up here, that flight data, and the actual name for the airline itself. So I'm going to add some additional information here. So I'm now joining two tables together. Again, this is all being powered under the hood by that Ibis connection. And that's why we're able to see such rapid response time as we start to do slightly more complex data manipulation. Now I'm going to order the airlines from worst to best based off of the information I've retrieved above. And there we go. This may or may not help me decide which airline to fly next time. And finally, let's take a look at the 10 worst airlines to fly based off of delays. Now, of course, this is just flight delay data. There might be some other information I want to include in my analysis, but the point of this is I'm able to iterate very quickly and perform decently complicated interactions and at least high-level aggregations on a very large data set. And that's all using that Ibis connection. So this is just the start, and the power of it comes when you start to use this connection for your own use cases. So I encourage you to take some time, walk through this starter workbook here, and then test out the Ibis connection for yourself. Excellent. All right, that was a pretty quick walkthrough, but we accomplished some big things. We set up an Ibis connection to Exasol using AI Lab. We manipulated some of our data using pandas, again powered by that Ibis connection. And we issued some queries, including some aggregates, some group bys, as well as some joins and some varying select statements, all powered by that Ibis connection. So fantastic. I hope you learned something from this short video, and I'm very excited for you to go off and try it for yourself. And stay tuned for more exciting updates from Exasol and AI Lab.